July 4, 1850, war hero and American President Zachary Taylor wipes the sweat from his face. The sun is blazing down as crowds gather around him for the groundbreaking ceremony of the Washington Monument. But this brave man is about to face his toughest battle yet. The enemy isn't a foreign army, but the contents of his stomach. They're about to be expelled from his bowels with the ferocity of cannon fire. Yes, President Taylor is about to poop himself to death. Was this because of a large bowl of cherries and a glass of iced milk, or was something more sinister at work? We'll discuss this in one of the messiest episodes of the infographic show, Explosive Diarrhea, one of the worst ways to die in the history of mankind. Let's start the episode with the disturbing statistics dump. Yep, we're proud of that one. Mass defecation, chronic crapping, the Hershey squirts, whatever you call it, diarrhea takes down 1.2 million people a year. Of the 4 billion who endure the chocolate thunder annually, many don't make it out alive, especially kids. For every 9 children under 5 who die each year, 1 is done in by their insides bailing too often. Deadly gastro-distress is mostly an issue in the continent of Africa, or in the countries of India, Pakistan, and some other parts of Asia. But that is not to say it's completely unheard of in the West. In a recent U.S. study, there were 167,000 recorded diarrhea hospitalizations and 300 deaths among children younger than 5, who each had a case of terminal trots that year. In 2021, 1.5 Americans out of 100,000 people died of diarrhea. That same year, 1.7 Canadians out of 100,000 also didn't survive a bout of mud butt. That is still way lower than in Scandinavia, which has the worst diarrhea death rates in Europe. 3.1 Norwegians and 2.9 Swedes out of every 100,000 succumbed to protracted pooping. We know our viewers are the high-browed culture types. Why else would you be here? You probably traveled the world only to learn that in some places spraying brown liquid from your a-hole is practically a rite of passage. It usually starts with some stomach rumbling, and then it's days of spraying watery poop into a porcelain bowl that soon starts to look like a Jackson Pollock painting. If you spent a lot of time in India, you might have experienced the dreaded Delhi belly. Just recently, a 19-year-old crapped himself to death after eating a tasty roadside chicken shawarma on the streets of Mumbai. Such cases are not that unusual in India. In May 2024, a news report said 11 people were killed due to a diarrhea outbreak in the northeastern state of Assam. It was believed that the people had drunk contaminated water, after which they had a bout of diarrhea and their bodies couldn't handle it. About 500,000 Indians die from diarrhea each year. We'll explain later why and how pooping can kill, even with today's modern medicine. But first, let's show you a real-life case of backdoor brownie batter in the developed world. It happened to a Canadian couple from Ontario who'd gone on vacation in 2023 to New Brunswick and eaten some strange-tasting soup. For any of you weary travelers out there who would experience dodgy dishes, you can just tell something isn't right. And that's what the woman of the husband said. The soup just tasted a bit off. As is usually the case, first came the abdominal pain. This was followed by explosive diarrhea and vomiting. The man was bent double in agony when paramedics arrived at the hotel room, producing the happy sad face pain scale for him. 8, he moaned. They hooked him up to an IV and administered fluids, but it seems at the hospital the staff didn't take a case of food poisoning very seriously. They should have, because a day later, he was dead. If you've ever had diarrhea yourself, you'll know there's having the trots and there's having the trots. You can't reason with the second one. You can't bargain with it. Like a poopy Liam Neeson in Taken, it's got a very particular set of skills, and no matter what you do, it won't stop. You could be in church giving a sermon, riding shotgun to Mount Vesuvius, or charming your girlfriend's posh parents over at dinner, and boom, you drop a bomb in your pants faster than you could even dash to the bathroom. It's followed by a symphony of gurgles and squirts as a cloud of aerosolized shame wafts right into daddy's nostrils. Don't worry, we've all been there. That's what happened on Delta Airlines Airbus A350 flying from Atlanta in the US to Spain in 2023. Infographics PSA: the window aisle is no place to be when you have explosive diarrhea. Infographics PSA 2: stay away from public transport altogether. A woman pooped so voluminously, so comprehensively, the plane had to return to the US. That's right, it was so bad, she diverted a plane. The aisle was so waterlogged with liquid diamonds, it took cleaners 5 hours to get the brown stains off the seats. The media reported that the carpet was ruined and had to be completely removed. Passengers said that there was the faint smell of feces-tinted vanilla in the air when they returned to the plane 8 hours later. You might laugh, but this was classified as an onboard medical emergency. The good news is you can't expel so much crap in one that you poop out all the goodness in you and you die. It usually takes a few days to kick the bucket, which in this case will be filled with a lot of brown liquid. Let's now explain how you actually die from overpoop. Let's say you hit the toilet more than 3 times in a day, and it's of the loose variety. This is formally classified as diarrhea. Loose can mean small and soft pebbles, but when it is serious diarrhea, it's usually brown, stinky water, like you're evacuating a toxic swamp. It usually comes with severe pain that doubles you over. You might be so nauseous you feel like you've ingested a dead rat. In such cases, it's very likely an infection of the intestines, either from a virus, a bacteria, or some kind of parasite, which causes gastroenteritis. This sometimes comes with vomiting, but not always. If you got it from food, it's usually from bacteria, which could be from the water the food was washed with, or maybe from infected meat. In hot countries, it's quite often the consequence of the meat in the dish being left out all day. It's one of the reasons why people eat stomach-shredding spices in tropical countries. The chilies kill bacterial nasties. So there you are, laid up in bed on vacation, your toilet bowl ready to press charges against you for systematic abuse. Odds are you've consumed the bacteria Escherichia coli, aka E. coli. This is usually why you come down with a Bangkok belly, the Delhi belly, or in Mexico, Montezuma's revenge. If you spend any time at all in the developing world, you have a 30 to 50% chance of getting it. If you stay in that country, you're getting it no matter what. Brushing your teeth with bottled water won't save you. We had a look at a Reddit post that asked, "What is your most memorable diarrhea story in Thailand?" One of the replies was from a guy who pooped his pants on a bike traveling at over 100 kilometers an hour. Another guy let out a load while shopping in a supermarket. As for how it felt, one guy said, "I've never felt so ill in my life. For 48 hours, I thought I was going to die. In fact, I would have been happy to do so." Another person said, "Spent 5 days in a hospital with hideous diarrhea. Would not stop, even when asleep. Generally, in 20% of cases, you'll just be bedbound for a few days. In 10%, you'll be sick for over a week, but you'll get over it. About 3% of cases will require hospital admission, where you'll be given intravenous fluids for severe dehydration. We don't need to tell you that dehydration can be deadly. No water in your system means fluid is taken from vital organs, and the upshot is a shrunken brain and multiple organ damage. You'll be given electrolytes in the hospital, a replacement for the natural sodium and potassium that your cells need to function. Even if you drink plenty of water during your pooping sessions, you are still losing electrolytes. You can die from an electrolyte imbalance. Your muscles go weak, you keep on vomiting, and as it worsens, you become agitated and confused. Your sodium levels drop and suddenly you're having seizures, often followed by coma and death. What have we learned? When you're pooping through the proverbial eye of a needle at rates you didn't even think was possible, get some electrolytes inside you. Gatorade might help, but a better option is electrolyte powders. Now let's go back to the start. President Zachary Taylor, who was 65 years old and just 16 months into his presidency. After sweating like a pig at a groundbreaking ceremony, he hiked back to the White House along the Potomac on that hot July day. As soon as he was indoors, he pounded down some ice water, some chilled milk, and what can only be described as a disturbing amount of cherries. Because why stop at dehydration when you can throw in digestive chaos? He was soon bent over with severe stomach pain that lasted for 5 days, having to suck on ice because glasses of water came straight back out of what we colloquially call both ends. At about 10 in the morning on July 9th, he told his wife Peggy, "I've always done my duty. I am ready to die." So how did he die? His physician said it was cholera, which brought on a severe bout of gastroenteritis. It could have been bacteria in the water he drank or the iced milk. It might have been arsenic in the cherry pips. It could have been poisoning of another kind, the criminal kind. Peggy refused an autopsy at the time, so rumors swirled about murder. In 1991, his body was exhumed, and the murder theory was finally put to rest. He remains the only U.S. president to have literally pooped himself to death, while in office at least. James Polk and Thomas Jefferson also met their ends thanks to explosive diarrhea, but thankfully not while in the Oval Office. Now you need to watch a classic, Freak MRI Accident, Worst Ways to Die, or have a look at this.